Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's Fiber Broadband Association webinar. My name is David Norris. I'm the webinar producer here with the FBA. Today, we are delighted to have a session presented by NTT Data, and this is titled Performance, Security, and Scale, and it's a review of the capabilities of NTT Data's global IP network. Before we jump in, I just have a couple of quick housekeeping items for everyone. First of all, you are in listen-only mode as attendees today. However, if you look at your screen in the lower left-hand corner, you should see an Ask a Questions tool. We do want to keep this interactive, so please do type your questions in there. We're going to have Q&A with our presenter at the end. We'd love to address your questions there, so please do get those in. We also have a number of great resources for you. You can find those in the Resources tool, which is located in the upper right-hand side of your screen. So be sure to check those out, and we'll also include those in a follow-up email. This webinar will be available on demand on the FBA website. That's usually up within 24 to 48 hours. So if you want to review it again or share it with your colleagues, please do so. We appreciate that. And finally, at the end of today's webinar, we do have a brief feedback survey. That survey also includes an opportunity to let our presenter know today if you'd like somebody to reach out to you, if you want to continue the conversation. So please leverage the survey for that. But even without that, we'd just love to get your feedback. It helps us out quite a bit. And with that, let's go ahead and dive right in. So today's presenter is Kevin Richardson. He's a senior manager for sales engineering at NTT Data Global IP Network. And so without staying in the way here, I'm going to go ahead and step back, and I will hand things over to Kevin to get us started. So Kevin, take it away.
Thank you, David. Just making sure my slides are moving here, so that's great. So yeah, thank you, David. As he said, my name's Kevin Richardson. I'm the Senior Manager of Sales Engineering at NTT Data's Global IP Network. As you can probably tell from my accent, I'm coming to you live and direct from the UK. Before we start, I'd like to thank you all for joining us for this webinar, and also to thank you for the service you provide to the fibre network industry. I live in a rural part of the UK, and without fibre internet, I would find it hard to join this webinar, let alone speak on it. So thank you for all you do for providing, services to everybody. Speed and reliability is a key to most consumers in the internet age, and hopefully we'll be able to show you how our services can help you with this. So moving on, so the agenda for today is, who are we? Who is NTT Data? Introduce you to our network, what our services are, how our value-add services can help you out, key differentiators of our network, customer testimonials, why NTT Data, and then at the end we'll have some time for some Q&A. So to kick things off, we'd like to have a quick poll of everybody here, just to know who we're talking to and what area of the industry you're in. So if you could work on the poll and select your answer, how would you self-classify your job, the position that you hold? So we're just going to hold on here for a few minutes, and if you can select whether you're pre-sales, sales, marketing, NOC, I mean, you're all very, very welcome, and we really appreciate you joining us whilst we're on this webinar. But it's just good to know who we're talking to. So I will hold quiet for a moment and let you submit your answers. So I can see the number of answers coming in thick and fast now.
All right, we've got those answers up now, the responses.
Cool, excellent, thank you. So, looks like we're, heavily led with pre-sales and sales, and sort of tech and engineering quite nicely balanced there. So I'll try and aim the conversation and my level of conversation to all participants. So, starting off with who is NTT Data. NTT Data is part of the NTT Group, one of the world's largest telecommunications companies, part of the Fortune 500 list from 2025. Sometimes I've heard us being called the largest company you've never heard of, and hopefully by the end of this, we'll be able to change that for you. So NTT Data Global is a global organization, is a 30 billion plus annual revenue, 6th most valuable IT brand. We're top 5 ranked IP network worldwide. We operate in 50 plus countries, and of those 50 plus countries, we're a top employer in 33 of them. We are the 3rd largest data center provider globally. So you can see from this, we're a safe pair of hands, both technically and financially. So what differentiates us? A unique portfolio that meets clients' needs for tomorrow, today. We're the most comprehensive modern technology company focused on client outcomes, significant investment in innovation. We're committed to putting our clients first. Long-term commitment to our people, client, partners, and society. With our heritage, we take a long-term perspective and align it to our Japanese heritage and business principles. Global scale and local proximity and accountability. We don't just have global reach, we have scale. We can deliver the same quality of service consistently in any region in the world. Deep client and industry expertise. What differentiates us from our peers is our focus on modern client buying patterns. We collaborate with the world's most transformative technology companies. We drive co-innovation through global partnerships with some of these large names that you can see on the screen now, like NVIDIA, AWS, Microsoft, Google. We take a multi-vendor approach, collaborating with industry's most trusted strategic alliance partners across networking, hybrid infrastructure, enterprise applications, security, collaboration, and customer experience. Working with these partners, we build services that will help our clients implement, support, and manage these technologies. This provides our clients with the access to the latest technology and premium technical support, offering specialist technology solutions to grow their business. Our commitment is unparalleled. Service spans 50 plus countries worldwide. We work with market leading sectors from automotive and healthcare to life science and financial services. No matter the industry, our dedication and data-driven people-centric transformation and innovation remains the same. That's why 75% of the Fortune Global 100 companies have chosen us as their technology partner. In total, our global network manages 6 million assets for 6,000 clients across 5 different continents. And as you can see from this slide, there's many household names there, from BMW and Jeep through to Penske and IndyCar. So we work with some very, very recognizable names. So that's about NTT Data and the global group. What I want to talk to you now more about is the NTT Data's Tier 1 global IP network. And we're just going to start that with a video. We go. Moving on from the video. So, we make a promise to all of our customers. Our promise is the promise to make we make to our clients, our people and society. It conveys a holistic and forward-thinking approach to organizational leadership and social impact, emphasizing the importance of innovation, collaboration, and purpose-driven action in driving positive change at scale. Find the right buttons. So, NTT Global IP Network, AS2914. We are a truly global IP backbone. As you can see from the map here, we're in many areas of the world. We're very well represented. We're in many of the carrier hotels. Across the globe, we operate a single AS number, whether you connect to us in Los Angeles, Milan, or Tokyo, it's the same AS number. We're in the major carrier hubs. So why does that matter? It's not just about the fast delivery of cat videos from Asia or Europe to your clients. It's about lower latency. Often the traffic stays within our network, coming from one region to another, to be delivered as quickly and as efficiently as possible to your clients. When we're carrying the traffic those long distances, we use multiple subsea cable systems when traversing oceans and seas to minimize the risk of cable cuts. We know they do happen, and we just spread our risk by using multiples across wherever possible. With the World Cup coming up soon, all of our networks will be required to carry those streams to the millions of eyes watching them, all those games, all those supporters. It's going to be really important for them. So as a tier one, we can carry and can reach the entire internet without paying anyone for any transit. That means our customers connect directly to one of the largest global backbones and get optimized low latency routing across continents. So in short, your traffic takes the fastest, most direct path to every corner of the internet. But more specifically for North America, we're very well represented here as well. In the east, middle, and west coast of America, you can see we're very well represented. We're in the majority of the big carrier hotels where we can connect you. And each of these locations is very well interconnected to each other. Even our smallest POPs will have dual and diverse backbone connections to their next upstream. And our core POPs will be resilient, not just within the same metro area and between metro areas, but also to the greater global map as well, having multiple connections to Europe and Asia as well. Recently, I was talking to somebody and they compared our network to a large highway or interstate kind of infrastructure. You know, we've got lots of capacity there to be able to carry large loads and large trucks. And we've still got capacity there to accept more trucks. And we can do that at very quick pace as well. We can add capacity, we can add ports to our customers, sometimes in as few as a few days when there's a real big demand. Compared that to some side roads or smaller highways that can easily get blocked and congested when there's high usage or heavy traffic. So we're able to respond very quickly to customers that need to increase their capacity at a very small rate of time. So, security at scale, our tier one backbone can absorb large amounts of traffic and mitigate massive DDoS attacks, protect against route leaks using things like RPKI and manners compliance, and offer advanced traffic routing filters, things like BGP communities that you can utilize, and we'll talk about those later, to manage how your announcements are shared on our network. To show you our kind of leadership, we're constantly recognized as being ranked in the top 5 for the global ranking providers, things like CADA, AS Rank, and Radar Curator. As you can see here, Radar have got us ranked as number 1 for both IPv4 and IPv6, and IPv6 is very important to people nowadays with the saturation of IPv4 address space being available. So our services. So whilst the global NTT data brand have access to many services, from data centers to unified communications and security, things like firewall and LAN and Wi-Fi services, the NTT data global IP network team, the sales engineering team that I am part of, are laser focused onto 3 products. That's wholesale global IP transit, network security and DDoS mitigation, and Ethernet services. We can provide you with large bandwidth capabilities, true global reach, and a second to none NOC. I mean, I might be biased because I work here, but we do hear this from our customers very regularly. And as such, we're more focused on you, our customers. We don't get distracted by other things that the rest of the organization are able to offer. So speaking specifically about our global IP transit network, to ensure the performance for our customers, we've been supporting IPv6 along with IPv4 for many years now, giving you and your customers greater choice of how they connect to the interesting content on the internet. We're able to share full routing tables, default routes, or both, depending on what your needs are and the requirements of your routers. We've been supporting 1 gig, 10 gig, and 100 gig ports now across our global network for many, many years. And recently, we've been rolling out 400 gig capabilities, and many of our locations, certainly many of those in North America, are now able to connect to our customers at 400 gigs. So our preferred connection type is single mode fiber with a standard optic reaching up to 10 kilometers, but that's certainly enough to reach around most data centers. We also provide Ethernet services. These are layer 2 services. So what are our services? Well, we call them VLink or Virtual Link and GVL, Global Virtual Link. These are carrier Ethernet point-to-point pseudo wire services. We support 1 and 10 gigs, but if you have a requirement on certain paths for 100 gigs, then we can consider that on an individual case basis. And I ask you to reach out to a sales representative or one of my sales engineers who'll be able to help you more with that, to help you carry your traffic around the North America and the globe. You don't need to buy the full capacity. So if you know you're only going to use 1 or 2 gigs out of a 10 gig, pay for that and use the burst. We allow you to burst right up to the full line rate. Service tunnels across our MPLS network in our backbone and leverages the built-in resiliency that brings with it, and uses BGP to make sure it chooses the shortest path always. So what are VLink and GVL? So VLink is the product where we're talking about within a region. So this is America to America, Europe to Europe, APAC to APAC. So it could be Los Angeles to Miami, or it could be Dallas to Seattle. Those are the services that our VLink product offers. GVL goes between these regions. It links these regions up. So this would be Miami to Paris, or Seattle to Tokyo or Hong Kong, something like that. They both support jumbo frames up to 9,000 bytes, so you can carry much more traffic across them. And where needed, we can use access lines to extend beyond our POPs if we need to, if you have a requirement for that. We have flexible commitments, like I mentioned, minimum commitment of 100 meg, all the way up to 10 gigs. If you wanted to take 10 gigs on a 100 gig or a 10 gig on a 10 gig, we're very flexible with you. As I mentioned before, just buy what you need. Don't buy what you're told to buy. We have built-in resiliency, so leveraging our backbone, auto failover mechanisms. Many times you won't even notice if we've had to change path because of a potential outage or maintenance work going on as part of our backbone network. And if in the unlikely event your traffic is to reach a congested link within our backbone, the traffic is prioritized across that. So your traffic will always be reach the destination in a quick, effective, and fast manner. Some other features of GVL, we support trunk ports, so you can have multiple services on a single port. We use VLANs and sub-interfaces to connect you on that. If you need to use VLANs across your layer 2 service, we support Q&Q. So long as you support Q&Q, you can run those VLANs through those interfaces without problems. We support most, if not all, protocols on this layer 2 service now, but it is not a VPLS mesh. It is multiple point-to-point connections, and you control the routing. So you put the IP addresses at either end of the links, and you control how you pass traffic across them and between your destinations. Type of topologies. So VLink Direct, this is the standard point-to-point kind of service. This is available for both VLink, Virtual Link, and Global VLink. VLink Plus, which is more of a hub and spoke style network, and VLink Mesh, which is a fully mesh or partial mesh, all made up out of multiple point-to-point connections. These are only available for VLinks. These topologies are only available in North America or within Europe. So resiliency, we talked about this earlier. Every single VLink and GVL POP has multiple paths to other GIN POPs globally. So in the event of a network outage or maintenance, the services will automatically reheal and work its way around it. It will keep doing that until there's no other paths available, but it will always keep trying to use the shortest path possible. So if it does have to fail over to an alternate path, as soon as the primary one is back, it will fail back. Most of the time, you won't even notice that there's been things going on. Potential cost savings, there is many ways that you can make cost savings by using some of our services. So if you were to take VLink and IP transit on the same port, you're saving automatically their costs of cross connects. And I'm pretty sure everyone will agree the cost across the next is only going in one direction, and that's up. So as you scale this across multiple locations, you can see that there's a really serious way that you can start saving money, especially if you have a global reach as well, and you add in some of those global destinations, putting all of that onto a single port or fewer ports than you would do by having individual wave services. You can save a significant amount of money on cross-connect charges. And the other way to save money is just by paying for the service that you need, paying for the commitment you need, not overpaying, not paying for capacity you don't require, but fully safe in the knowledge of knowing that if you need to burst up to that 10 gig for a big event that you're doing or something like that, then you have that capacity there available to you to do so. We really rate our services, and we believe that we're a really safe pair of hands for all of our services, especially our Ethernet services. So we have very stringent SLAs available in it. The SLA for latency does take into account the fact that the product does reroute when there is a failure, so it takes into account some additional latency for that services. But as you can see, for packet loss and jitter, we've got very strong, very solid SLAs that we will stand behind. There's a website for this. Go to our gin.ntt.net. Our SLAs are all on there. You can go and click on the A end and the Z end, and it will tell you what the SLAs are, and you can also see how we measure up against that. It's all open and in the public realm. So in summary, V-Link is an Ethernet solution. It's configured. There are 3 configurations: direct, which is point-to-point; plus, which is your hub and spoke kind of service; and V-Link mesh, which is your full or partial mesh. Global V-Link, or GVL, is always just point-to-points. It's carrying traffic over those longer spans between regions. We allow you to do flexible bandwidth, commit to what the bandwidth you need, knowing you can burst to the full line rate should you need to. Leverage our built-in resiliency. Waves don't have built-in resiliency. If somebody decides to dig up the side of the road and go through that cable, it's going to be down until that cable's back up again, whereas ours will reroute around it for you. Provisioned on dedicated ports if you want to, or we can do them as sub-interfaces and have V-Link, GVL, and IP transit all on the same multi-service port. Moving on to network security now. So as part of our IP transit services, we have included security offerings. This is remotely triggered black hole, RTBH, which most networks now offer. We also offer selective RTBH, secure IPs for the link addresses. We also have additional security services. This is in the form of intelligent DDoS mitigation capabilities. I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. There is a follow-up webinar coming on the 2nd of October by my colleague Darren Grabowski. He's the manager of the network security team based in Dallas, and he'll go through talking to you about how to protect your network from DDoS attacks. But just safe in the knowledge that we do offer the capability to do DDoS mitigation. So talking about the built-in security capabilities, remotely triggered black hole. Like I say, most networks now offer this. You just announce the IP address using BGP community 2914:666, and we'll just block all the traffic going to that. So if you're being completely overwhelmed by traffic and you need to take a breather, you can announce it to us using that. It is a little bit like a sledgehammer to crack a nut, in that it also kills off the good traffic as well as the bad traffic. So because of that, we went on and designed a product called selective RTBH. So what this does, in this example, this customer is connecting to us in APAC and specifically in Hong Kong. And what it does, it gives you the ability to block or allow traffic within or outside of the region that you're announcing the routes to us. So in this example here, this customer is wanting to block traffic either in Hong Kong, because that's where the majority of the bad traffic's coming from, and they have other interests elsewhere in the world that they want to allow through, or they're saying to us, block the traffic from the APAC region because the primary services they're offering on that web server may be from elsewhere in the world, maybe Europe or maybe North America. So for you in North America, you could say, block outside of North America, only allow North American content in or traffic in, to give you some breathing space whilst you're trying to work out how to mitigate that attack or how to cope with it. It can sometimes just take some of the pressure off and allow some of that important traffic in and keep the lights on to a certain degree. Other value-added services that we can provide you. We talked about IP addressing earlier. So our standard offering for IP addressing is a /30 on the link addresses, but we can also offer a /29 if you, without charge. If you have other client-side devices, maybe you're connecting to us through a switch and you have more routers or firewalls or something like that, we can also offer you a /29 without charge. For the /30, we can use what we call secure addresses on those. These addresses are not connectable from outside the 2914 global IP network world. So it reduces the risk of those routers being targeted by a DDoS attack because it can't connect to them directly. It can traverse through them, but those routers are more protected from those nefarious activities. Optionally, we can also lease you IPv4 addresses. We can do this from a /28 all the way through to a /16 is available. These are clean addresses. In many cases, they've not been used in the past, so you don't have to go through cleaning websites and getting them taken off certain lists. They're fully RPKI compliant. You can use them if you're configured with RPKI and create your ROAs. And if you do have services outside North America, we can re-geolocate these to any country or region that you would like us to have your service. Our key differentiators. So one of them is that we're a customer-focused network. We've got exceptional service and exceptional NOC and customer engineers. The customer engineers are the ones that will be helping you to turn up any services, making any changes. The NOC are there when things go wrong. You know, these things do happen in life, but you know, we pride ourselves on our uptime and everything. But if something should go wrong, our NOC are there. You get through to a highly trained engineer. You're not getting through to a chatbot or somebody who's reading off of a script. They're very well tenured, very knowledgeable engineers. They have access to our routers, and they can help you with pretty much everything that that you need to on our network. Additionally, 99% of the time, when you request a change, there'll be no charge for it. If it's to do with your IP leasing or IP address changing, a change to your IP transit or layer 2 Ethernet services, in many cases, there's absolutely no charge for any of those changes that you need to happen. Network design and survivability, we're very much an engineering-led organization, the NTT Data Global IP Network. And as such, they have a great input into how things are designed and how we procure things. So all of our POPs and certainly all of our core POPs are interconnected with several other locations. They will have dual edge routers, dual core routers. Even our smallest location will have dual uplinks, and they will be diverse uplinks taking completely separate paths to help with that, you know, reliability and uptime availability. Our backbone is made up of leased capacity in the main, but also some NTT-owned fiber. We're not forced to use our own infrastructure, like as in NTT global infrastructure. We can buy the capacity where we want to, and we do an RFP every 12 months to buy that capacity. We see this as a great benefit. We're able to take shorter paths. You know, new routes are coming up every single day, and every year we can look and see if there's a more favorable path and lower latency between two metro areas, and take that, so long as it's a very safe and reliable partner. If we find that one of our partners is becoming unreliable and causing issues on the network, we can remove them from the RFP. So it enables us to keep that uptime and our reliability, you know, really solid. Between continents, as I mentioned earlier, we will utilize multiple subsea cable systems to make sure we spread that risk. You know, ships dragging anchors, things like that. There's multiple reasons why a cable system might get broken, and we'd reduce that risk to us by making sure we're across multiples of them. We have ample network capacity. Our capacity planning team do a really great job of monitoring our network, making sure that if we exceed our kind of do not cross thresholds before we have to upgrade, that they highlight that very quickly, and we get those approvals in place to upgrade the network. And they're always monitoring it, making sure that the capacity is there for you, the customer, to be able to use our services and, you know, use them to the benefit of your customers. Most of them now are multiple 400 gigs, and in the case where they're not 400 gigs, they're certainly multiple 100 gigs to give you the a sense of safety, knowing that we've got the capacity there to be able to deliver your traffic. BGP communities, this is a big differentiator for us. This information is publicly available. There's links out there to go and view the BGP communities of many organizations. All of our BGP communities are on our website, gin.ntt.net. And you can see we have functional BGP communities there. They're not just the ones for doing black holing. We have functional communities where you can say, you know, do not announce to certain peers or partners. prepend 1, 2, 3 times to certain networks. It gives you the flexibility to tell us how you want us to announce your routes, and gives you the control over that routing capability. We also have informational BGP communities, and these are where, when we send you the routing table, we tag them with where we see traffic coming in and everything, so you can ingest that into your systems, and you can then make more educated decisions about how you send traffic out onto the internet, whether you send it to us because we're the shortest path, or whether you decide to send a specific piece of traffic to somebody else. But it gives you that flexibility and that control. Software-defined networking, I would say this is probably one of our key differentiators. But again, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this because there is a third webinar that we're doing that's coming up. There's no date for that one just yet, so please keep an eye out on the emails. I'm sure we're coming out with the date on that, where we'll go through how we use it. But in short, we've been doing this since the 1990s, before SDN was even a thing. This helps us to manage our network very well, and reduces the number of errors that we make on the network. It speeds up the time that we can deliver. So we've got an average of install of 21 days from receiving the order to getting that order delivered. And also it's great for like big moves and changes. We can do those easily, usually through a single clip, and we can program it during the day and let it run in the evening with somebody monitoring it to make sure it works fine. So somebody from our team will be going into more detail on that, so please do keep an eye out for both of those webinars, the one with Darren Grabowski on DDoS mitigation capabilities, and the one around software-defined networking. Industry-leading SLAs, we talked about the SLAs for the Ethernet services earlier, but the SLAs for our IP transit are just as rigorous. We have 100% uptime for our IP network. Our backbone will be free of outages 100% of the time. And we've got really strong latency SLAs as well. 50 milliseconds for intra-US, 80 milliseconds for transatlantic going over to Europe, and 130 milliseconds going trans-Pacific out to Asia as well. Again, all of these are on our website, gin.ntt.net. The SLAs are there, and again, you can see how we track against them. We put our results up there for you to see. More on our core strengths, peering. Being a tier one, we peer with other tier ones and other strategic networks globally to make sure the traffic reaches those far areas of the internet and to deliver you the full routing table. But the other one that's key, I think, is the accessibility. It's not just sales and sales engineering attend these events like NANOG, RIPE, LACNIC. A lot of our key technical people from the NOC, customer engineering, our development teams will be attending these meetings. A lot of them do things for the IETF and have written IETF documents, and many of them do write programs and things for the better of the community. So one that springs to mind is BGP Alerter, written by Massimo Candela. It takes about 15 minutes to configure this, and what it does is it monitors your AS and your prefix space and alerts you to changes in them. So these could be alerts, these could be changes that you're making with knowing that you've made them, or they could be unknown changes where maybe somebody has typed the wrong number into their routing configuration and they're trying to announce a prefix of yours. It will alert you to it straight away, so you can then take action to remedy that. Another thing that we do that's quite unique is exclusive customer briefings. We do these in North America, Europe, Brazil, and Asia. They are led by our senior management team, and many of the senior department heads, so the head of engineering, head of customer engineering, head of product, people like that will be coming and they'll talk to you in more depth about our network and our services and how we choose routers and things like that. So those are very, very well received. People I've spoken to that have been along to them have said they're very, very unique. So in summary, here are some of the customer testimonials. I mean, like I said, I'm biased, but we do get very, very good customer testimonials. Some of these are around specific products, some of them around our NOC or our customer engineering, but we do regularly get feedback from our customers about how good those departments are and how well they support them. So I'll just leave those there for a little moment so you can digest those before we move on. So why choose NTT Data and the global IP network. But we're an award-winning tier 1 global IP network, AS 2914, same AS globally, financially backed by the NTT Group. NTT Group is a very strong group, great credit rating. We're not going anywhere in a hurry. We have a redundant network, upgraded network. We're upgrading routers, we're upgrading backbone as and when we need to. We have a 24/7, 365 customer support, which is led by our global NOC, and it's got a major presence in Dallas, Texas. We have industry-leading SLAs, very strong SLAs. They're publicly available. You can go in there and see how we measure against our own criteria. And we have one of the most comprehensive BGP communities sets in the industry. So with that, I'd like to invite any questions.
Sure. Well, first, great job. Thank you, Kevin, for sharing this with us. We do have a few questions that have come in here, so let's jump right in if you're ready. Let's see here. So to kick things off, someone has asked, why is it important to connect to a tier 1 provider versus a tier 2 or tier 3?
I think the main one of those is reach. We are able to reach the far-flung areas of the internet, be that Asia, Europe, South America. We have that reach for our customers to be able to draw traffic from and send traffic to. And we have the capacity there as well to carry those large amounts of data across that global scene, not just across North America, which we are more than capable of carrying very large amounts of data. We can carry it globally as well. And the infrastructure is there to be able to mitigate large DDoS attacks. So whether the customer's got their own DDoS capability or whether they want to use our DDoS capability, the infrastructure is there and the capacity is there to be able to deal with that.
So speaking of the DDoS solutions here, someone has asked, do you offer white label DDoS solutions?
We do. We do have a service provider model, which I'm sure Darren will speak into on the 2nd of October in his webinar when he goes into greater detail about how to protect your network. But yeah, we do have a white label service provider offering.
Great. Let's see here. So moving on. So someone has asked, can you provide me KMZs of your fiber paths?
We don't, and there's a couple of good reasons for that. One is that we kind of class it as being kind of like technically confidential. We don't want to share what paths we're doing. Part of that is security. We don't want people to go and dig them up. I'm sure they wouldn't. But also it's kind of part of our secret sauce. If we can find a shorter path between 2 metro areas, we don't really want to necessarily announce that to other people. So those are kind of the main reasons why we don't. If we have an access loop between our data center and the customer's premise, we can share with that provider's permission those KMZs. But for our backbone, we keep that as commercially confidential.
Makes sense. Let's see, just as a reminder, if you do have a question for Kevin, please get it into the Q&A tool, which is located in the lower left here. Let's see, so someone has asked, how fast can you deliver services?
So our average is 21 days. I've seen in occasions when a customer's been really desperate for services, those being delivered much quicker. Sometimes it depends on whether there's a local loop or a cross connect. Cross connects can be very quick, usually a matter of days or a couple of weeks in general. Local loops can be varying, so those variables are different. But to get our port up and live and running, yeah, average is 21 days, but we can action it quicker if needed.
So let's see. So someone's just asked, where are you currently seeing the most growth or demand for new routes?
The most growth is probably both from Europe to Asia and the US to Asia. Those are very big growth paths. Many global organizations now are setting themselves up in many regions and need those requirements to get traffic, across those boundaries.
Great. Let's see. Are your layer 2 services a good replacement to waves?
In many cases, yes. It really depends on the individual scenario the customer's trying to replace. So I would always ask them to reach out to us, reach out to Michelle, who's one of the salespeople and one of my sales engineers or me, to discuss the actual use case. But in many cases, yes, the layer 2 Ethernet services that we offer are very good replacements for Waves, or certainly very good backups to Waves. So if they use Waves as a primary, they can use us as backup.
And just as a reminder, if people do want to reach out to Kevin or the team here, there's a couple ways to do that. In the resources tool, we have a contact us, a link to the contact us page. But Kevin, we also got your email there. If you look at the speaker section, you can email Kevin directly, or of course on the survey, you can reach out as well.
Yeah, and shortly we'll move on. We'll move on to the last slide. If we move on to the last slide,
sure.
Whilst we're talking, people can take Michelle's contact details as well. So if there's more information they need, they can either reach out to myself. I'll be more than happy to chat with them, but also reach out to Michelle, who's one of the global client managers in North America.
Perfect. Yep, we can leave that one up here. So we've got one more question in the queue here, but if you have any questions, please type them into the tool, and we'll continue to cover those. But someone has asked, do you offer a shared commitment across multiple markets in the US?
Yeah, in many cases. So if they're taking ports in, say, East, Middle, and West Coast US, we can generally offer we call it a cumulative commit. So we can use them, offer a commit that spans across those 3 ports, and they can share the traffic how they want to. But again, yeah, reach out to one of the salespeople or myself, and we can go into more detail about that.
Great. That actually covers the questions that we have right now. However, feel free to type in those questions still if you like as we wrap up here. But Kevin, let me just hand it back over to you, just as far as sort of final thoughts or next steps or things for people to pay attention to. Do you have any final wrap up here?
Yeah, I mean, we'd be more than happy to chat with anybody that's on here. Myself and the team will be attending many events coming up. I know there's going to be representation at Encompass and Nanog coming up both in October, I believe, so they can reach out to us in person. Certainly at Nanog, there'll be some of our other colleagues there from customer engineering and the NOC most likely there, so they can have a chat with us and them around anything specific they want to know about our network. But yeah, reach out to us via email. We'll have more than happy to have a chat via Teams or Skype or whatever, and talk to them about their requirements and how we can help them. And then obviously goes without saying the follow-up webinars for both DDoS mitigation capabilities with Darren on the 2nd. I'm not sure when those sign up links will be going out, but they'll be going out soon, I'm sure. So look for those, sign up for those. That'll be a really interesting one. Darren's a great speaker and great fun, so he'll be good on that one. And then the SD software-defined networking, which will be coming later on. Again, I think that will be very interesting. It's certainly interesting to me, and they'll go into more details around how we manage our network on a global scale using software.
Great, and that's a great reminder. Yes, definitely keep an eye out for the 2nd and 3rd webinars coming from NTT Data over in October, and then a little bit later in October as well. I believe it's the 2nd and the 30th are the 2 dates for those follow-up webinars. So we look forward to having people join those as well. With that, I think we can start to wrap up here. You mentioned a few of the events that you'll be participating in. Speaking of events, here at Fiber Broadband Association, we're getting close. We've got 3 more left of our regional Fiber Connect workshops, and these are happening in Spokane, Washington. We'll be there next week, so certainly look forward to seeing folks if you're in that area. We'll also be in Scottsdale, Arizona a little bit later in the year in October, and then finally wrapping up the year in Kansas City, Missouri in November. So please keep a lookout for those. One thing I just like to mention every now and again too is our Optic Path program. If you're not already familiar with this is Fiber Broadband Association's program for providing instruction to future fiber technicians. We are actively looking for volunteers and support with this program. If you're interested in learning more or offering support, volunteering for the program, please do reach out to us. You can get more information following the QR code here, and there's also more information on the FBA website as well. And finally, before we close things up, I just want to once again remind everybody that we do have other webinars coming up, including the two NTT data webinars coming up at the beginning and end of October. So please keep an eye out for those. But if you want to see what else we have in terms of webinars coming up, go out to our website, go to under the events tab and look at the webinars option, and you can see what other webinars we have coming up here, including our Fiber for Breakfast series, which is every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. and features Gary Bolton, FBA's CEO and president. So we look forward to seeing everybody on future webinars. And once again, just want to thank Kevin and NTT Data for bringing this together today. And of course, thank all of you for attending as well. We really appreciate you taking time for these. With that, we will wrap things up, but definitely let us know if you want to continue the conversation. Thanks.
Thank you.